man. Look, Northside in the house.
Sir.
Devean George, thanks so much for being here, man. We've been talking about doing this for a long, long time, and now it's come to fruition, man. I'm happy to have you here on One-on-One with Henry Lake. But I want to start with the fact that we've known each other for a long time. We're both Northsiders. And the bottom line is I know you, but I don't know a whole lot about the George family. So tell me a little bit about your family, small family, big family.
Yeah. Small family. Here, just my two brothers, mom and dad. All my dad's side of the family is in Mississippi. Mom's from Chicago, so we had a smaller family. My grandparents on my mom's side both died early when she was young, and then I only met my grandpa on my dad's side. So small family, but the Georges, they're all in Mississippi, a couple in Chicago, but big family in Mississippi. But here in Minnesota, I had one uncle here, and then it was my dad, it was his brother, and that was it.
So in terms of you and your siblings, you guys were all born here?
All born here, yep.
Okay.
All born and raised.
What was it like growing up in North Minneapolis? Which I know a little bit about, but tell me about your journey there.
I mean, I loved it. It was you know, all my friends was there. It was different. It was real a tight community. It was a lot to do. A lot of the people there, you know, took care of each other. My family knew everybody, and so everyone's parents looked after us, disciplined us, told us what we were doing. Snitched on us to our parents if we were doing wrong, all of that. So I loved it.
Yeah, and when I think about being a Northsider, it encompasses so much because I think about the days, because I grew up in Lynn Park, but I was all over the North Side, right? And you're right, it's like a very, very tight community. And when you say North Side, that means something, right? It really, really does mean something. And one of the things that's a real strong attachment is basketball. We talk about basketball and our love for basketball on the North Side. Who introduced you to the game of basketball?
My older brother. And, you know, I wanted to follow him around everywhere I went, and he was always at the basketball court, so that's where I was naturally at. And then when he was playing, I wanted to play with him, with the older guys. And so that's kind of really how I got some of my learning lessons and toughness and grit from playing with older guys, wanting to play with him, me being 6 years younger than him.
Yeah. So, you know, back in the day, everybody, they had their spots where they used to hoop at. Some folks played at Hospitality House, some at Jerry Gamble's Boys and Girls Club. I loved playing at North Commons when I was in high school, going to Minneapolis North, Central Gym over South, in South Minneapolis. My home base was always the Y, right on Golden Valley Road and Broadway. You know that area extremely well because that's where you grew up. I bring that up because of the sense and the love for community started right there. So how would you say that in your early formative years, what seeds were planted from you just kind of playing all over?
So basically it was like wherever there was runs and where there was games, we always wanted to hit all of the different gyms. But again, we always had our base. The Y was my base too, in North Commons. You know, outdoors, indoors, but the Y was every day. So every day after school, I would walk to the gym. It was really a block and a half from my house. I can look out my door and see where the Y is at. So I was there every day. And that's where we learned that's where the seeds were planted of loving the game and learning, and the grit and the things that we got came from the Y. Yeah,
because you were right there. I would see like your designated spot to go hoop is picking a game there or picking a game right down the street at North Commons.
Exactly, and I can go right to the corner and look and see like, okay, is it action going on over at North Commons, or go to the Y? The Y is obviously indoors, but you can look over through the park and see if there's people playing, and then you just migrate over that way.
You know, and one of the things I'll never forget is going up to the Y, man, your brother Eddie, man, I was like, this dude got some game, man. So did he kind of take you through the ropes of the do's and don'ts with regards to basketball?
He did. I learned a lot from him on the do's and don'ts. He had a lot of talent, but again, he helped me with the decision making. You got to have decision making, and if you want to keep going to the next level, and that's what I always preach to young kids too, is that his decision making wasn't the greatest. He was pulled in too many different directions. He was good, and he didn't focus in on basketball and one thing or another. He was good at baseball. He was good at bowling. He was good at everything. So he was kind of splitting his time. Where me, I kind of focused like, this is what I can do. This is my opportunity. I'm staying in this lane. May give the other sports a little bit of time, but that was my main thing, is kind of staying focused on that.
You got to help me with this. Is this a myth or is this true? Did Eddie become a professional bowler?
He played. He had some. He was damn near professional.
Okay.
He was. If you're making money doing something in tournaments,
you're a pro.
Profession.
You're a pro.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was really good at it.
You and your siblings close?
Very close.
Okay.
Extremely close. Because we, mom and dad both worked 2 jobs, so we were kind of raising each other. Starting with my older brother, taking care of us, cooking for us, picking us up, dropping us off. And my younger brother too, so I kind of had to pass it on. But we all had to kind of take care of each other.
I had the thought that back in the day that you were going to land at De La Salle High School, but you actually went to Benilde-St. Margaret's right down the street here. So what was your high school experience like?
So let me give you the De La Salle story. And so my brother went to De La Salle. So both my brothers went to De La Salle. I'm a middle child, so my younger and older.
Okay.
But coming up, De La Salle was a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
They had all the good players. The atmosphere was right. And so as a youngster, probably from 4th grade, 5th grade, I just couldn't wait. I'm going to De La Salle. I couldn't wait. I would go and watch practices. I couldn't wait. The day before school started, I was signed up to go to De La Salle. For whatever reason, I just told my mom, I'm going to Benilde. And she was like, what? And I was like, I'm going to Benilde. Everybody thought I was going to De La Salle.
Yeah.
They were calling from school, like, is he sick? Or, what's going on? She was like, oh, he went to Benilde. They were like, what? Like, because they know I was there since 4th, 5th grade. Like, I couldn't wait to get to high school. That was the school that I wanted to go to. For whatever reason, I still don't know why.
And the family attachment.
Family attachment, just everything. Still to this day, don't know why I decided to go to Benilde for whatever reason. Maybe I wanted to do my own thing. I don't know. My gut just said, I want to go to Benilde. I think I'm going to go here. I don't know. So ended up going to Benilde, and it worked out.
So people, I'm sure, are like, how did 6'7", super athletic Devean George, an NBA champion several times over, how did he end up at Augsburg College? So kind of walk me through that story, because I know that it involves a growth spurt. Your senior year at Benilde, what schools were kind of interested in you?
Going into college? No one. Wow, not one. Except Augsburg. So what happened was I was always short. I was small. I had late growth spurt. So my junior year, I was probably like 5'9", 5'10". I grew to 6'3" over a summer. Wow. Like, it was a crazy summer.
From 11th to 12th grade?
From 11th to 12th grade. Okay. So I come back my senior year, and I'm like 6'3". But growing over the summer, like, my feet were growing, my body was aching. Like, I had hair at the time, so I could notice I started to have the duck in the mirrors, and things were just kind of getting a little bit smaller for me. People would see me a week later like, man, you're getting taller, man. I swear you're getting taller. And I didn't know, but I was sleeping a lot. And so that's what happened. I grew. I was always a decent basketball player. Wasn't a bad player.
Yep.
But no offers, no nothing, not one letter in my senior year. So I think my coach knew one of the coaches there, and Coach Amon came over and talked to me, said, we'd love to have you. So I come in and I said, look, I still want to play basketball. No D1 offers, no D2 offers, no interest anywhere, no walk-ons, come and walk on, nothing.
Yeah.
So I said, man, I still want to play basketball. I didn't want my career to be over after high school. So I said, well, let me go to college here. It's 15 minutes from home. I still can play basketball. So then when I got there, I still kept growing and got to 6'7", probably right away when I got there.
Wow.
But I think the thing is, I didn't even realize this, that I got a late birthday. I got an August 29th birthday. Okay. So basically, I graduated. I'm going into college at 17. So I'm probably a young.
You're ahead of the game.
You know what I mean? I'm old, young for my grade.
Yep.
And stuff. So at 17, I'm starting college. A week later, I'm 18. So I think maybe that's what it was too. I was just really young. I just hadn't grew yet. But we're all late growers. So yeah, I grew some more in college, and then one thing led to another.
So would you categorize yourself as maybe being overlooked back then, or would you just say, I was a late bloomer?
Late bloomer.
Okay.
Decent player, late bloomer. I wouldn't necessarily say I had a chip or anything of like, why didn't I get any offers? Probably didn't deserve it. Wasn't ready. Yeah. And that's why, everybody goes at their right time, and I think that's why late peakers, late growers, guys that peak later kind of can make a bigger splash as opposed to the ones that start in 7th grade you got to keep that going for a long time.
Yep.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yep.
And then when you peak at 7th grade, how much more can you go? But if you're taking smaller baby steps, and that's why I tell a lot of guys, I coach my son's teams, don't worry about if you're ranked number 1 in 8th grade, 9th grade.
Yep.
It don't matter. There's so much basketball left to be played. Just take your time and try to get better. So,
Yep. So, what was it like being a local stud athlete here locally, but you're not at the U of M? Because you're at Augsburg, but not the U.
Yeah, it was great being, a local guy. I got a lot of press, a lot of times in the paper, and then I didn't really think anything of it until I started seeing those guys at the other schools come to our games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why would they come over here?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew they were hearing noise about what I was doing, and that's kind of when probably my junior and senior year, when I started seeing the guys from the U come over and watch the games, and I thought, okay, I might be onto something.
Because in your draft, I think, because you were in the same draft class as Quincy Lewis.
Yep, Quincy.
Yep.
I'm friends with Bobby. Bobby had told me, man, we came to a few of your games. So Bobby Jackson, when he was there, so everybody was trying to see what was going on over there. And back then, it was true word of mouth. Like it wasn't social media. They could say, hey, there's a kid at Augsburg. Look, check him out, and millions of people see. Like, you really had to tell somebody, go check this kid out. Go check this kid out. And one thing led to another.
I got to read this. So you led Augsburg to multiple Division III appearances in the tournament. You were the MIAC Conference most valuable player of the year in '98 and '99. You accomplished a lot, but you were still kind of flying under the radar. At what point in your days as a student at Augsburg did you actually think that the NBA was a possibility?
I thought the NBA was a possibility my junior year, summer. Like playing against NBA talent, played against Kevin Garnett, had a talk with him. He gave me some good advice, just saying, man, you can play, you're going to get a shot. Somebody going to give you a shot, but what are you going to do when you get that one chance? Because you might only get one chance. What you going to do with it? And so, but that's when the confidence grew of like, oh, okay, I can do this from playing against guys.
Getting to be drafted, that's a process, especially for athletes who attend a smaller college and university. But I saw this on the front end. So I got to tell this story. I'm out in Hampton, Virginia for the Boo Williams Invitational high school recruiting tournament, right? In that same time frame, what was taking place was the Portsmouth Invitational that you were a part of.
Yeah.
And so, because that's kind of like the starting point is the Portsmouth.
It is.
And so I drove over to check you out at the Portsmouth. And so we saw each other and, you dapping me up and we're talking whatever. And man, you blew up at the Portsmouth. That's where you really, like, everybody started like, who is this Devean George kid, right? And the crazy thing about it was after every game and you going off, cats would come over to me, scouts and NBA people be like, man, who are you to him? Are you his agent? I'm like, nah, I'm just the homeboy from back in Minneapolis. But kind of talk about that experience, man, because that really took off for you.
Yeah, so not to discourage people, but people have to understand getting drafted in professional sports is so much, when you look back on it, you realize it, but there's so many things that have to happen that aren't really in your control. Like most people think, as long as I can shoot half court from like Steph, as long as I can jump like LeBron, I'm going to the league. But it's just so many things that just have to happen. Like you got to miss your flight, your grandma has to die, you have to get hurt or injured. All of that has to happen. And I was always training in college, training, trying to get to the camp. They wouldn't let me in. 2 days before camp opens, J.R. Koch, he played at Iowa.
You talking about at Portsmouth?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not before. I was trying to get in.
Okay.
2 days before the camp started, they said, okay, we'll let you in. Somebody got hurt. J.R. Koch from Iowa played in the Big Ten. He got hurt, rolled his ankle or something like that. So they said, well, let's let this guy in. He's been pushing in, and Yale Dosey, he was on the committee.
He's been knocking on the door,
He'd been begging, and so let's let him in. And that's when I got in, and I was like, this is my opportunity. And then when I got there, like it gave me a little juice because I'm like, oh, these are all the guys that's playing on TV. This is a perfect time for me to make my stock go up. And then that's when I kind of went crazy and went off.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't just knock on the door; you kicked in the door.
Yeah, and so at the time, like, my agents at the time, they were just kind of giving me the game plan, like of just like show everything. Like they were just saying, okay, everybody see you can shoot and drive. Now just start, go goaltending ball. Just go start slapping ball and just so you can jump. Start guarding the small guys. Switch on the little guys, just to show you can play defense. They were just, so we were just really trying to strategically trying to get drafted.
That versatility.
Just to show I'm a basketball player. I'm not a one-trick pony. I can't just shoot. I can't just jump. I can guard, whatever you need me to do that night. And that was kind of my into the league of like, I can do whatever you need to do. I'm not a specialist.
And that's basically kind of like your identity, your MO throughout your time in the NBA. So we got the 1999 NBA draft. Elton Brand, he goes number 1. You got Baron Davis. You got Lamar Odom, Wally Zerbiak here locally, others. You go 23rd overall to the LA Lakers, one of the most storied franchises in sports. Kind of reflect back on that specific moment. What was that like for you, if you can remember?
It was amazing. It was like a relief. It was like I had to shed a tear because it was so much work I put in. Meaning, I was working out 6 a.m. before class, in between classes. Got a break, I'm going to the weight room. After class, like it was just a daily in between. Eat, sleeping, and drinking basketball. So it was a relief. But it was actually the team that I did not think would draft me. You know, you got to think at the time they had Kobe, they had Eddie Jones, they had Rick Fox. They had all swing similar players of what I would be there to do. But the Lakers drafted me. They worked me out twice. So it was Phil's first year. They called me in, and my agent's like, they want to work you out. I'm like, what's going on? You know, they got.
What's the rhyme or reason?
They got all these guys here, and these guys are in their prime and good. Like, they don't need another player like me. So Phil works me out, and I was actually supposed to be a crash test dummy. So they had another guy that they wanted to work out. So it was just me and him one-on-one, and I let him have it. And then coach had me do some shooting drills and some ball handling drills. And then he was like, he told me, he's like, you had a lucky workout today. And I was like, lucky? I didn't know he played mind games. And so I was like, lucky? What do you mean lucky? I said, I can go shoot some more, Mr. Jackson. He was like, no. He said, you want to end on luck, So he was just kind of kept saying that. And I'm like, man, this ain't luck. I said, I'll go shoot some more.
You were like, I am him.
Yeah. So he said, no. He said, get some free throws, and then you guys are done. So he just walked off. 2 weeks go by. Agent calls me again and says, Lakers want you to come back. Like, why do they want me to come back? This is a team that they don't really need me. So I go, get on the flight again. I go back to LA. As soon as I see Phil as just being him, he said, I said you got lucky last night. Now do that SHI again. Do it again.
Oh, wow.
So, like, all right. I don't think I missed a shot. I don't think I missed one. I mean, I can't even remember missing too many shots at all. Just, I was hitting everything. He was doing this. Go here, do this. Hitting everything. I was in shape. And then he just walked off. So my agent said, how'd it go?
He didn't say it was lucky then.
He didn't say no. He just left. He just walked out. To see him walking up the stairs, I'm like, am I done? So I'm looking at, and he's new, so I'm looking at the guys that are working us out, like, it's over? They were like, I don't know. I mean, he just left. So we sat there for a little bit, and we just left. I said, I guess you're done. So I leave.
So did you think that you were going to go in the first round, or were you sure, or were you not?
I was projected first round.
Okay.
I was projected between 19 and 25, or somewhere down there. But when he left, and then talked to my agent, I said I had a good workout again. They were like, yeah, this is odd. Come draft day, they draft me.
Yeah. Now, you didn't just get drafted by the Lakers. You balled for the Lakers. You were an important part of that team, winning 3 NBA championships. And you were a fan favorite. Was being a Laker, was that the pinnacle of your life as an athlete?
It is. It wasn't. Not was. It is. I mean, because I'm still in LA still, but it's the history being a part of that historic franchise. It's the fan base, the love you get from the fan base.
That's a global team.
Yeah, and it's just, they still love us just as much as they do when we were playing, and then really, when we had a downturn, they loved us even more because they clinging on to the old glory days and stuff. So it's still Lakers town. They still love LA. the Lakers, and then.
Will it ever be a Clippers town?
I don't think so, man. I think they got to kind of move to the side or move into a different area, man.
Yeah.
But it's even when the Clippers were really good with Chris Paul and the Lob City and all that, and the Lakers were bad.
Yep.
If you go to anybody in LA and say, what game do you want to go to? I got a ticket for a Clipper game or the terrible Laker game. They're going to the Laker game.
It's not close, yeah.
So, I mean, that's how I see it.
Man, you played with two of the greatest basketball players of all time, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. I'll ask you about Kobe first. What was it like playing with the Mamba?
It was like no other, man. Learning, making you raise your level of competitiveness up, raise your intensity, your love for the game. I mean, he pushed you, and he really, if you're ready to fight and scratch and claw, he loves you. If you're not, you're gonna be on his bad side, and that's really where it came from my point of view of seeing the players that he was that he liked, and the players that he didn't get along with.
So that competitiveness was real.
Oh yeah, really real. So I'll tell you a funny story is that so he challenges all the rookies when they come in, and when I got there, like it was a little overwhelming, so I didn't talk. Like I was just trying to figure out what's going on, and it's people everywhere, hotel. So it was just like, it was a lot. I'm coming from Minnesota, Augsburg. Now I'm going to the Lakers where there's just people everywhere, just thing. So I was just kind of just trying to feel it out, feel the players out, and see, learn everybody, because I was just watching these dudes on TV last year. Now I'm in training camp, and so I was just trying to feel things out, and I would always notice he would always want to pair up with me, and Phil would tell me and another person, you two go pair up down there, you two go here. I turn around and he switched with the other person so that me and him can go at it. And so I'm like, man, what is this? Then we doing ball handling drills, you two. He switched with the other guy behind my back, and now he's with me. I'm like, this guy coming at me. So I asked the trainers, like, I said, hey, what's going on with Kobe? Like, did I do something? Like, I said, I ain't said 2 words, all training camp for the whole month.
Yeah, why he on me like this?
Yeah, why, he's like, they was just like, keep doing what you're doing. It's a test. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, cause I'm gonna compete. I know you are who you are, but I'm gonna compete and stuff. So, and from that point on,
it was a respect thing.
Yeah, he wants to see where you, just challenge you. Yeah. See where your head is at. See if you're going back down. And they were not going back down. And so from that point on, every summer, he was on me. Hey, make sure you do this. We got to get this chip again. Boom, boom. And then when my contract was up, he helped me get my contract.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was there every day. When it was up, he'd call me. He's like, to get the numbers right. I'm like, no, not yet. Agent said they can go. They got a little more. He said, don't worry, I'll be in there in the morning. He's in there. Yeah. Get the numbers right. I said, they're there. They came up, but they ain't there. And finally, they got him right.
Man, that kind of makes me tear up a little bit, man, because, just to know that he was riding with you like that, he valued you as a teammate and as a person, because he knew that you meant that much to the team.
Yeah. So that again, and that was how I had to fit in. We weren't calling a bunch of sets for me. They weren't calling plays and this and that. So I had to figure out, when you play with guys like Kobe and Shaq. You'll get a little sugar here and there. Coach will call a play for you every now and then, but for the most part, how you gonna fit in? How you gonna get minutes? And most people think, I'm not getting the ball. Well, I couldn't think that. You know what I mean? I had to play defense. I had to knock a shot down when it came out to me. I had to guard the other team's better players. I had to swing the ball, get deflections, tips, dunks. So those are the type of things that coaches love. That's how I had to get on the floor.
What was it like playing in a triangle? I gotta ask that.
It was, we loved it. Once we got it down, coach was a little hard on me because I had it before anybody. So when I first got drafted, I had it in the summertime.
Oh, okay.
All the other players, the vets, they didn't get there until
later,
until training camp.
Yep.
So there was a lot of expectations. Man, you should know this. We went over this in summer. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of pressure, on that. But the triangle is beautiful, man. Ball movement, player movement. It's no one way to really stop it. It's too many pressure release. It's not predictable. And a lot of the stuff, when people are trying to scout and hear it, it sounds like a football play, and that's what a lot of people have a hard time with it, because it's a sentence for a play. Most people just say fist up, fist out, blue, 35, whatever. That's a play. We have a cross screen, button hook, lag to a blind pig, 2 pass to the top, 3 pass pinch post, dribble weave with the man out of the corner for a shot. That's a play. People are like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like, what did you just say? And that's
a maze for a lot of people. Yeah,
exactly. And most of the guys are just using hearing fist up, and then it's a predictable sequence of actions.
Yep.
But he'll call that play. But then if someone jumps out and you can't make that pass, it's a whole nother sequence of things that you do without having to say it.
Yeah.
He'll call that and say, hey, do this, make the pass here, make the pass there. But if you can't make the pass there and not throw it here, we do something totally different. And so you just have to have that be in sync with one another. And so, but I like it. It was beautiful.
Yeah. What was it like playing with the Diesel, Shaq Diesel, man, Shaquille O'Neal? I mean, big time, massive mountain of a man on the court, big personality off the court. What was it like with Shaq?
Man, that was so much fun playing with him. That dude is like, he keeps it light, funny, serious when it's time to be serious, but joking and light most of the time. One of the most gifted, talented, largest human beings ever.
Oh, yeah.
This dude had great hands, soft touch, athletic. He could break dance. He could pop lock.
He could rap.
It's like, it was crazy to see like this big human being that can move and do all the stuff everybody else could do.
Yeah.
I mean, he's monstrous. And from his hip to his thigh to his knee, it's like a cinder block. Like, it's like both of his legs, and it's not, I mean, there's no fat at all. It's just like from here to here, it's just solid rock muscle. And it's like, I mean, what are you gonna do with it? You can't, So playing with him was comforting, knowing that we had him on our team. It helped us out defensively, because I knew I only had to guard you from 3-point line to probably mid. You're not going all the way.
Yeah.
He's sitting there. You're not going.
He's
all
in the
way.
post. Yeah.
So my distance that I have to guard you is just from here to here, not from here to here, because he's taking up some of that space just with his size. So yeah, it was great playing with him.
That's crazy. The day that Kobe died, how did you find out?
I was actually there. I was there. So it was I was there for the Super Bowl. It was a walk-a-thon for the Super Bowl, because it was in Inglewood. So I flew in and did the walk-a-thon, and I was actually at the airport. And when I go to the airport, have my headphones on, beeline into the lounge, and then waiting to get there. So as I'm heading towards the lounge, waiting on my flight in LA, I kind of see like everyone kind of getting frantic and whatnot, but I had my headphones on. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, kind of looking like something is not right. I just see people kind of crossing and pointing and looking at their phones and stuff. And I'm like, I looked at my phone. I'm like, what's going on? So didn't think anything of it. I get up to the lounge and watching my little shows on my iPad and just kind of watching it. And then that happens again. Like, I'm watching everybody kind of get frantic and, kind of running and looking. And I'm like, what? So I take my head, like trying to listen, like, what are they talking about? Like, what's going on? Then they had the TV in there, and I'm looking at the TV, and like there was nothing on TV. It was like on CNN, but I don't think it had been reported yet.
Yep.
So I'm looking at the TV like there's nothing on TV. So I look at my phone, and when I looked at my phone, I had like missed call, and I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? And then everybody just kept saying, did it really happen? Is it true? And I'm like, is what true?
You're still trying to figure it out.
I'm like, what is going on? And then I called my boy and he was really worried, because he knew I just went down to LA, and then there was reports that there were players with us, and Rick was on there, and he was like, man, did he? So I looked and I was like, no. I said no. I said no. I would have heard something. And then teammates start calling. I was like, oh wow. I was like, okay. When teammates start calling, like asking questions, and then then they said, yeah, it was true. And that was it, man. It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah. Man, I still remember to this day.
Yeah.
I remember that Sunday when it happened. For me personally, I was taking a nap. I was laying in the bed, and when I just kind of I'm one of those. I always sleep with the TV on, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was sleeping, and then when I kind of came to, all I saw was the image of Kobe, and it had the birth date of when he was born, and then it had when he and it was a picture of him, and I said, what? And then that's when I start channel surfing, and I saw the news. So I know that was tough.
It was.
Got to ask you about Phil Jackson. What was it like playing for Phil?
Phil, genius. He was light years ahead of everybody else on coaching. He just kind of knew what was happening before them. Mm-hmm. He knew best how to highlight the things that we were doing good, how to hide our weaknesses, the things that we couldn't do. He knew how to hide them.
That's important.
He knew how to attack the other team's weaknesses really good. Like there are certain passes in the triangle that he would say he doesn't like us to make because it would limited our options. Mm-hmm. So he would come in sometimes and just say, you guys know the pass I hate the most. Do it as much as you want tonight. Do it as much. You can't throw it there in the corner enough tonight. Every time you get it, if you want to throw it in the corner, throw it there. Mm-hmm. And then you see the team just reacting. They don't even know what to do. They're turning around. We're getting layups.
You got them all confused, yeah.
He just knows how to attack the other team. Mm-hmm. And his strategies of when to attack them. He held certain things to the end of the game where you couldn't adjust at halftime. He was just ahead of a lot of coaches, and he knows the game.
Yeah.
He has that.
And he played in the league. Yep.
He has that. He knew a lot. So the assistant coaches, they all kind of split up the team. So like there's 4 assistants, and then each assistant might have like 7, 8 teams, right? That they scout for, that they always watch. So when it comes up, when we play that team, they do the scouting, they run over the plays. Guys, here's what they like to run. Here's their plays for their favorite players. Mm-hmm. He knew more than them. Mm-hmm. He'd be like, well, what about the other turnout that they run, this and that? Oh, yeah, that one. They got to look at the paper. He said, he knows the whole action.
Yep.
Where they're looking, oh, yeah, the turnout. He said, when they turn out and they come through and they drop, he knew it all. So, I mean, I don't know if he was just studying this 24 hours a day or if he just had a photographic memory. Once he sees it, it's locked in. I don't know, but he was always ahead of everybody with game planning.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You're one of my favorite Minnesota athletes, not just because of what you accomplished in the NBA, but how you're pouring your time into building up the community. A housing developer, somebody interested in making things affordable for citizens, as well as somebody creating jobs with all of these massive efforts. Where did this passion as a businessman, entrepreneur, grow out of? Because I read somewhere that you got into this mindset when playing for the Dallas Mavericks.
I did. That's when I realized that I wanted to get into this lane right here after meeting Reverend Johnny Flowers down in Dallas. But it was all leading up to community work. When I first got drafted, I was one of the younger guys. I didn't have commercials, so all of the mandatory NBA events that we need to do in the community, because the NBA makes our teams get into the community. Mm-hmm. They say there's mandatory 15, 20 events every year that we want somebody from your team in these communities, because these communities, support you guys. So they make, when you see all the stuff on TV, the turkey giveaways, Read to Achieves, when they're going to hospitals, those are mandatory where the NBA says you're going into these events.
Yep.
So
yep.
I was always sent because, the other guys were busy. They had kids and families. I had no kids and family at the time. And so I'd always kind of get into there, and then going into Watts, reading a book for 30 minutes and just kind of seeing what that did to kids. Like, they thought that was the best thing ever, to have a Laker come in and read a book for 30 minutes to them. And I would see some of the teachers or some of the people that work in the social programs of like, man, do you know what that did to these kids? Man, they're still talking about that book you came and read, 8 months ago. Yep. I'm like, really? And so those things like kind of, really shaped me of like, man, I should do more of this if they'll listen to me and listen to the message I'm giving. And they think we're not human beings because we play on TV and we're good at basketball. Like, a lot of them used to always say, hey, can I touch you? And I'm like, what? And they're like, I just want to see, like, I'm the same as you. I'm bleeding the same as you.
Yeah.
They think that we're not human beings and stuff. So I said, well, let me use this message to try to say some good. So that I was always doing that. And then for my 7 years in LA, I was sponsoring a program here called Why Can't I Go? And I was taking about 20 kids every year that were doing good in school, attendance wise, did some social work. I would fly them and 20 chaperones out to LA to see a game, go to Disneyland, and meet some of the players. Mm-hmm. And then that really helped some of the kids' mindset of getting out of the community and seeing there's a whole nother world out here.
Yep.
It was mind blowing to me for a long time to know, like, there's a lot of kids in our neighborhood that have never even been to the Mall of America. When there's people coming from Saudi Arabia and all over the world to see that, there's kids that never even just took a bus just to see, like, hey, this is Mall of America is in my state.
Yep.
So it was that. Then when we got to Dallas, a girlfriend at the time came, after the game and said, hey, can you call your Nike contact and get these kids I met some shoes and some t-shirts. So there was about 15 kids. Someone must have donated seats behind the bench. And so she said they had holy shirts on, the shoes and whatnot. And so I called my Nike rep and said, hey, can you send me a box? I got these sizes. Can you send me some shoes? And I'm going to send it to the community center. Mm-hmm. It was Reverend Johnny Flowers. And I sent it to them, all the kids. And he called me back. He said, man, that was really nice, man. Can you come over and think? I said, man, I got it for free. It wasn't a problem. I'll send you another box, man, if that helps. And he said, no, I really want to show you something. So he takes me. I said, okay, I'll come over to practice one day after practice. So I go over. It's in South Dallas. Rough, high-income earners there will earn $12,000 a year. So you know what that looks like.
Yep.
And Bank of America had donated these buildings, like these 4- and 8-plex buildings, to him in this area. And he had took them all and turned them into something different. Like, he had a bunch of them that were housing. He had one that was like after-school program. He had one that was kind of a church-driven, one with therapy. Mothers have been beaten, kids seeing things that they need therapy.
Yep.
So he had all that kind of like a one-stop shop. And I was like, this is really impressive. And then he was like, I don't need anything from you, but can you pop in every now and then? I said, that's easy. So we pop in. So a lot of the kids start coming in, hey, we got a Dallas Maverick, Devean George is coming to, so they would all kind of migrate.
Yep.
And they would work on they're in the studio, working on raps, writing rhymes. And he said, I don't care if any of them got any talent. He said, this is good. I got them all right here. As long as I get them right here, we good.
Yep.
They could be doing something else. And so that's kind of gave me the mindset. I'd owned the properties that I own in North Minneapolis. I said, that's it. That's what I'm doing over here.
That's what's up, man. That's special.
Yep.
And that was the big onus for housing?
Housing, and so basically when I'm doing my projects here, I don't only do housing. I try to have programs and try to work with other social services, because it's a lot to it of just getting people in homes. They got to have some supportive systems, and I don't do that work, but I want to always make that resource and contact of like, hey, I got some people in the building that need help with X, Y, and Z. Can you come over? Just having those resources available is really what helps things.
Yeah. I got to read you this quote, this from you. The same people that nurtured me and helped me be successful, now they're asking for jobs. Now they're asking for housing. So I wanted to build a business and to rebuild our city, which I love so much. Man, what you're doing is beyond important, and I commend you for it. The cost of living is skyrocketing. You're putting your money where your mouth is. How have you been embraced by local government and politicians?
I've gotten a lot of support from them. They see what I'm trying to do. They've supported me. They've been a good partner. and coming to the table with resources and things to see what I'm trying to do. Can't do it alone. I need their participation, but that's just how I feel. The people that are in the community looked out for me, cared for me, protected me. And really, some of those same people, whether they got kids or not, are still, my dad and mom still know everybody. So everybody's asking, hey, can I get an apartment? I need a place. I want to work for your son. Can I do anything? I'll clean up. I'll do it. People looking for jobs. Yeah. So people are trying to make it, and so I wanted to really build my business on the development side of really helping the community and providing jobs, because that's really go hand in hand, housing and jobs, and then we can start talking about other stuff. But if we can get some people housing and some jobs, then we're starting to move the needle and get somewhere. And that's one of the things that really pushed me, and it was really the people that I had to really do something, because I'm like, I remember, man, you did used to look after me. Yeah. So now you need some help. I can't be like, I'm good. I'm good. Good luck. I can't do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just not, I'm not built that way and stuff. Yeah. So I remember things that people did for me and my family. So yeah.
I love Minneapolis so much, through the good and the bad.
Yep.
This is home. And I'm curious though, when we were quarantined with the pandemic, the world is watching us and the protesting the murder of George Floyd, did any of your old teammates reach out to you because they knew that, Minneapolis is your home base?
Yeah, it did. A lot of them did. And some of the things that we talked about, and I still do, is that we got exposed here. We got exposed for as wealthy and well-to-do this state is. It really exposed the gap from the haves and the haves not. It really exposed some racism, some things that need to change. It got exposed, and it kind of came to a head. And we became kind of an embarrassment throughout the nation. Everybody was talking about what's going on up in Midwest and Minnesota. What is going on up there? The racism. They start looking at the educational gap.
Yep.
They start looking at the wealth gap. They start looking at everything. Like they start doing all kinds of surveys and polls of this being one of the racist places throughout the systems and stuff. So it was an embarrassment for a point, and that's been part of my thing now, is saying, hey, let's give this area some good press. Let's give Minnesota some good press.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah. And weeding out the bad, but we was an embarrassment for a long time.
Yeah.
Still, we still got a lot of
work. We're still working through some stuff.
Yeah, but it was just one thing after another, killing, the shooting, this, there's racists there, now here, and oh man, look at the educational gap. Whites are doing fine, but look at how much, there's a lot of money in Minnesota. But it's these are the only people making it. So all of that was exposed, and so that was one of the things we talked about.
We got to overcome that, because I remember years ago when I was in college, they'd be like, Kirby Puckett, Prince. Now everybody's everybody's asking about George Floyd and all that. So it's kind of crazy. This is super random, but I got to ask it anyway. How did you end up in the video for the star rapper Ludacris?
When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that.
I remember that video. Tell me about that. How'd you get up with Ludacris, man? You gotta tell me about that.
Man, it was there was so many opportunities in LA, being in LA and playing for Lakers at the time, that I did a lot of cameos, and it's funny. I got some friends in LA and stuff that are movie stars and whatnot, and I let them know, look, if we go out or we're out, I'm like, I'm a movie star too, because there's some little cameos and stuff. Then I see how the royalties and stuff work. I still get $4 checks for stuff I did 20 years ago, because it's still airing on and still playing and stuff. So I always show, and they laugh. I'm like, look, I'm still getting royalties. I don't tell them how much. It's $4. Some of them, they keep coming. They're $4.
You got a stack card?
213,000. So, but I'm still getting royalties. So, so we laugh and joke about it. But my manager, so he was going to be my agent. So my manager at the time was always looking for opportunities for me. And he's actually married to Ludacris' publicist, and she worked for him at the time. And he wanted some guys in the video, and I was like, sure, I'll go. And it's like, I don't mind being one of 5 dudes with 50 girls on the set. So I'm a young guy at the time. I was like, I'm there. So So yeah,
You remember the song? I can't remember the song.
It was
I cannot
Stand
remember.
Up. Stand Up.
Yeah,
Stand
Stand
Up.
Up. Yeah, that was a hit. That was a banger right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, man, hey, look, I'm super. I pride myself in being super humble, laid back, proud of where I am, proud of the people that I associate with, whatever. Man, you the same way, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm so proud of you and all the success you've had in the NBA, both on the court and off the court. You're just a stand-up guy, man, and I appreciate your time
No, I
today.
appreciate it, man. Thank you. And really, I'm so happy to be a part of this because it's nothing more satisfying to seeing people say, I'm going to do this. Years go by, here we are. You told me this was going to happen.
Yep, absolutely.
And here we are. So congratulations to you too.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Devean George, thank you so much.
Nice.